happy Saturday morning. Welcome to Access Machinery live stream episode. I'm Irina Solovianenko and I'm managing partner at Access Machinery. I have here with me today Andrew Vicente, our application specialist. And let me welcome everyone to this special Thanksgiving weekend edition of our live stream episodes. This weekend reminds us of all blessings that we have, important to share it with the family and friends while respecting the COVID-19 reality of our times. We know that we will get through this together and we'll emerge stronger. Okay, about today's topic, we're going to talk today about the energy sustainable equipment. At Access Machinery, we take sustainability seriously because we understand the importance of it. Not only we do make it as a priority, we also pride ourselves on being an avant-garde company that places innovation at the forefront of all that we do. Our commitment provides us with the opportunity of our world-class machinery provided by Durma, our manufacturer, and services that will increase our customers' productivity and sustainability. Let me introduce our special guest here today.
Hello.
Kyle Grace with the Product Pro. Thank you so much, Kyle, for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Product Pro specializes on the retrofit equipment sustainable rebates.
Yes.
Yes, and we partner with the Product Pro, offering that value-added service to our customer. Kyle, please.
Yes, so I'm the Technical Sales Director for Product Pro Industrial Supplies. So we do a focus on energy efficiency within all of our product lines. So we also specialize in Save on Energy program retrofit rebates, and we've partnered with Access Machinery to offer to their clients rebates for new energy efficient machinery. So whether it's going from a hydraulic brake press to a servo brake press, or from a CO2 laser to a fiber laser, we can quantify those savings, and there are rebates available from the Save on Energy program on top of your savings on the energy side for your costs.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Andrew, can you please give us a little bit more in-depth examples on what kind of machinery is eligible for this program and what customers need to know?
Absolutely. So the obvious one right away, as Kyle mentioned earlier, is going from a CO2 laser to a fiber laser. As you may know, with the CO2 laser, it's on all the time. It has to be on to keep the beam going. So that's a lot more power. Not only is it taking more power in total, but being on all the time and not always cutting, meaning that your actual production might be 40 to 50%, but you're burning energy the entire time, albeit at an even higher rate as well. So when you switch to a fiber system, for example, the beam turns on and off as necessary as it's actually being used. The resonator's ready, but we're not using the electricity right away. Chiller goes idle, the dust collector goes idle, and of course the resonator goes idle. The drives go idle. You've seen our equipment do that before. Lights turn off and it goes into standby mode. So that's a great example of a system that can almost completely shut down and draw almost nothing while it's not producing, which again, about 50% is about the average. Maybe with automation system it's a bit higher, but in most cases, customers don't have the automation, so the system is sitting there burning energy when you're not using it. The next example, of course, is the machine right behind me right now. As you can hear, it's dead silent. With a hydraulic system, the motor has to keep turning, keep running. It runs the entire time. Again, it's fair to say about 50% production is what you're actually going to get on those pedal presses. Your operator goes on break, or he's grabbing more parts or waiting for the next batch of parts. That machine is burning energy, the same amount, essentially, the entire time as the motor runs. Again, I said before, as you can hear this machine behind me, it is dead silent. Why? The drive is on, as you can see on the control, because the servo system doesn't need to run constantly. It runs as you command it. So that right there, this machine is almost drawing nothing right now, sitting here idle, waiting here. And you can tell by the volume in that case, and that's why a system like this, we can see some pretty significant rebates. And Kyle, can you give us an example of what happened when a customer went from an old hydraulic to a servo system?
Absolutely. So we worked actually with one of your clients. They had 5 of the hydraulic brake presses, and they went to 2 of the servo controlled. Through that process, we estimated that the rebate the new system would actually draw about 25% of the original power consumption of the 5 brake presses.
Wow.
We did the monitoring and verification for that project as well. So we had the detailed values for that, and the end result actually being a greater than 90% reduction in that power consumption. So the rebate for that scenario alone was about $46,000.
That's amazing. Written in a check as a direct rebate for upgrading equipment?
Exactly. So the Save on Energy program will send a rebate check to you for that amount.
That's amazing, 90%.
Yes.
And then what I love about the program too is that you're directly measuring wall plug efficiency. You're actually seeing that difference. So that's a tangible difference. We're not just saying that, yes, you can hear the motor not running, but you're proving it. And
yes.
I would find that amazing. Now, without further ado, I'd like to show a few showcases on the machine of an example of where, between the production, even the motor stops, even if I have to flip the part or anything like that. So let's take a look on a part on this servo brake. Let's take a look.
Let's see how it looks.
On the servo brake here, we're equipped with the DA66T touch control. Here I can visualize the tools and move them around if need be. All the steps are listed on the top. This one has quite a few steps, as you can see. We're going to do some bump bending here. We got a 4-axis back gauge, which moves the R axis up and down, Z1, Z2, and move back and forth, and the X back and forth. Automatic tool clamping system by Willa. Makes changing tools a cinch. Very easy to line up the tools here. The control already told me where to put the tools, so I just have to slide them over. Now we start with the bending here. Because of the accurate back gauging, I just have to push the tool against this. I keep the part in position and it keeps moving the back gauge towards me. Very accurate, making bump bending a cinch. You can see how quick the ram moves up and down to make this bending possible. Bump bending, of course, is a popular way to have a large radius in a part, despite not having the proper radius tool. Ram open up a bit there as we're getting close and we're entering box mode. I'll move to the other side of it. Continue with the accurate bump bends here. Again, I just have to push the part against the back gauge and I have no problem here. Same bend replicated every single time. Very, very accurate. Bump bending is actually difficult in most cases because the back gauge and the ram have to make the same bend every time. Because this part was simulated in software, I knew it would work out. You can see how the radius lines up perfectly with that final radius cut on the bottom. Very difficult to do. Moving on to our next part, we're just going to go with a bit of an acute angle here to fit in. You can see the accuracy required to match the bump bending to that acute angle. Snaps right in. It's actually amazing. So this is our little flower box right here. And again, you can set up your desk, you just hang it up there so they all fit nicely together. This requires a lot of accuracy and there's a lot of bends in this case. And even between that one, moving the part around, flipping it around, it stays very, very, uses no power in between it because it shuts right off the second we're done bending. So this is a good example of a part here that would save you a lot of power because as you're moving the stations around, you don't have to have the motor running the entire time. So now I see where the 90% comes from.
Yes, yes.
That's right. So that, again, nice little flower box here, and it fits well with our energy sustainability thing topic today. That's right.
That is correct. And also there's a message for customers who are running their production more than one shift or two shifts. That becomes very significant when you're saving on the energy that much, right? At the end of the day, your hydro bills will become smaller, smaller, and smaller, and we all know that economy is asking to maintain the best of you can do in terms of spendings, so that's another case of it. And I know you prepared one more case.
That's absolutely right. I got another showcase, and this is a unique one. I've wanted to do this one for a while, and it still ties into what we're talking about today, but it's also just an exciting part to look at. So let's move on to our next showcase, and let's take a look. The control here allows me to switch programs very quickly, and I can change the tool spacing to facilitate the part spacing that's required here. All the steps are recorded on the top, and it moves the position of the piece for me depending on the tool position. The automatic clamping system again, I can very easily put the tool in and out. Just got to follow the numbers like before. Tool changing is so easy on this machine with the automatic clamping system. You can see this is a complicated bend here with a specific spacing needed to make this happen. Using our M-Bend software, which we've demonstrated before, I've already simulated this part so I know it's going to be successful, despite all the complicated bends here. Normally this would be a trial and error thing, but with M-Bend we can determine if we can even bend this part based on our tooling and tooling heights beforehand. This part is going to require lots of complicated bending with very specific angles to make sure everything fits. Without the 4-axis back gauge system, I couldn't back gauge against this because I'm back gauging against a bend that requires some depth here. You see how tight that gauging was? It barely even fit, but because of the back gauging system, one of the most important parts of the brake, I was able to gauge against it. The servo brake moves so quickly that we've already done about 6 bends already. Now here with our final bend, you can probably tell what this part is. It's a tablet stand. Looks great. If you contact us, you can get another one. Nice tablet stand there. And the tablet fits nicely. Perfect. So you're probably wondering why did I do a tablet stand? Because while you're moving towards energy efficiency as well, you can also make an impact by reducing your waste on paper and moving to tablets, and of course in that respect as well. I can't speak for Rebates on that, but it's a good help for the program, and you know, it's nice to have a nice stand that will go nice in your office, flex our logo. You can absolutely have one if you want. We will send one to you, no problem. We can make many more.
Andrew, can I also mention something like that looks very beautiful part for sure, and I see that it was not only press brake that you used to make it, right?
That's correct.
You use a laser as well.
Exactly. So we talked about the fiber laser earlier, and there's a lot of reasons why this would be difficult on a CO2 laser as well. Not just because, you know, we were talking about energy efficiency, but you see how precision those texts are, and you saw it in the detail shots as well earlier, that it would be very difficult to make these small little cuts because the heat affected zone on the CO2 is so much wider. So with the fiber system now, it is much easier to make parts with this kind of level of precision, and you have no problem there being able to produce these. And on top of that, burr-free, even with the text you can see here, with the Durma right there, that logo is no problem to produce on a fiber laser system, so you're open to doing many things. You also saw the etching on the earlier flower box there. The etching, again, is nice and stable, very, very light, or you can go heavy, but on a CO2, it's difficult to get a light etch because the power needs to be at a certain level for the beam to actually produce and actually absorb into the sheet, whereas, you know, a fiber system goes right into the sheet. Steel absorbs it much better, of course stainless and aluminum as well. So our fiber laser system to produce this, and our servo press brake to save energy, both cases, to make this part.
Excellent. Kyle, can you please give a couple of examples of, let's say, CO2 efficiency towards a fiber laser?
Absolutely. We actually just completed a rebate for a CO2 laser. So we went from a CO2 to a fiber laser. Just a one-for-one replacement, so it was just one unit for a new fiber unit. The rebate in that case was actually $24,500 and change. And on top of that, on top of the actual rebate itself, you're talking about sustained energy savings going forward into the future. That's right, and it's ironic too with not only with just the rebate, is that the fiber system is so much more productive on top of that. Yes. So you could replace, well, as you said with the brakes earlier too, you could potentially replace 3 lasers perhaps with one fiber laser, depending on your production flow, and that would be even more rebate, right? Absolutely. Wow, that's an amazing case study for there. Yes. Some great programs there. So if I wanted to apply for this program, what do I got to do? So you can contact Arena. I would definitely get some information from Arena or from Andrew. We can also, if you want to send an email to ourselves, you can contact sales@productpro.ca. and then we can work with you to determine the viability of what you're planning to do, and we will put that through with the Save on Energy program. Everything for the rebate program has to be pre-approved. So we go through the process and we get the approvals from them before we actually start doing the work. So if you're planning on doing an equipment upgrade, it's probably in your best interest to do this, this case study just to see whether there's something that's available. We don't have to necessarily hook up the monitoring equipment for each one. We can quantify a general, what we expect the rebate to land at. If you're expecting an increase in production, that can also play a factor. So those pieces of information can come together and we can put a plan together for you for how to proceed into the future.
That is correct. And also I would like to mention that we're going to leave Kyle's contact information underneath this video. So at any time, please contact directly and inquire about your case. I'm pretty sure that almost every customer can be eligible for the program. Can you tell us approximately, let's say a customer is in the process of applying this, what they should expect, how long does it take, like, how long they need to have your monitoring equipment until?
So if you have a steady production, generally they take, for rebates that are going to be greater than $40,000, you have to have the monitoring equipment in place. It's what they call an enhanced M&V report that they need for that. So generally, if it's a steady production, you'd be looking at a week of monitoring. If it's a little bit less consistent, then we'd be looking at about 2 weeks of monitoring.
Okay, great. 2 weeks is perfect.
Yeah, so once we have that data, we put that in. We have the evaluators at the Save on Energy program look at the information. It's generally about a 6 to 8 week process to get your pre-approval. Once the pre-approval comes through, you're actually set. So if something happens on your end, the pre-approval is there until the end of 2021.
Huh. I have an interesting point, though. So, of course, with COVID-19, what's been happening, aren't the production numbers going to be skewed? Like, some plants shut down for a month. Isn't that going to affect that number?
Yes, yes. So one point that the Save on Energy program is doing, which is actually a very nice factor, is they are allowing us to use 2019 production data. So we can pair the current energy readings to your 2019 production data. And again, if you're upgrading to a new machine, we take that new reduced energy usage and we extrapolate it to your 2019 data. So we're looking at your true production output because they understand too that there has been impact from COVID-19.
Oh,
Good
generous
to
of a
hear.
program.
Good to hear.
That's excellent. So with that program now, so you can use the 2019 numbers with the data here and the real examples you provided to us. So it's excellent that this is it's a great program and it's going to really help save the environment, not only increase your production and be able to feel good about your purchase and put some extra change in your pocket as well.
Exactly.
That is
That's
correct.
Right.
I believe we wrapped today's topic and we can move to questions.
Perfect.
We have questions, right?
Oh, absolutely. Look at that.
Oh, there's a hello from Rad. Rad, hello. And there are questions from Pat, Lou. Hello, Pat.
Hello, Patrick.
Can we use American-style tooling on your machine? Yes, we definitely can. We have universal type of tool holders, and you can use both American or European-style tooling. So it's perfectly universal. Can we use Wheeler auto clamping tools on those machines? Again, yes. You have to have obviously hydraulic clamping system to use those tools. What is the precision tolerance on those press brakes? So particularly on the servo brake, it's 0.0.
Well, exactly. On the servo brake, if we're talking angles, we're going to talk a digit of an angle. So 90.0. So if it was 90 degrees, you could go 90.01, and it would reflect that on the servo. Hydraulic can't do that. So another advantage, not just past the energy efficiency, is the accuracy. The back gauge can handle a fraction of a millimeter as well for positional. If I can move the hand wheel ever so slightly, and I'd say 0.1 of a millimeter is no problem for this machine. Repeatability as well. Very, very accurate on the servo machines. Not just more advanced technology, but more accurate as well.
Thank you, Andrew.
No problem.
Question from Mark. What do I need to do in order to get into this rebate program? Well, to begin with, you have to start thinking about having new equipment. If you have your old equipment in place and you wish to replace it, I would suggest to contact us or Kyle if you decided to, if you already have equipment in mind and what you know what you're purchasing. And on the road, we can set up the conditions. And just to mention that Access Machinery offers a product pro service included with your machinery purchase, so you don't have to count on this on your budget. It's our value added service that we find very, again, there's Thanksgiving weekend, so we feel very gracious, grateful, and this is what we're offering, and we will offer this program for the until.
So this current iteration of the program is available until the end of 2020. Okay. Actually, we found out recently that they are extending some sort of program for 2021 to 2024. The complete framework is not yet available, but they are focusing still on industrial commercial savings. So equipment will definitely be a factor in there. The details of that should be coming out into December. So once we get that, we will know what we can do with your equipment going forward into 2021 and up until 2024 at this point.
That's a great subject to hear. I'm glad they're extending that because it's a really
Me
exciting
too.
program. I can imagine, of course.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, we got a next question.
Kemal, thanks for watching.
That's right.
Very welcome.
Yes.
A question from Irvin. Great information, good to know. Thank you for watching
That's
again.
right. Thank you very much.
So I believe we came to end of the episode. No more questions. Again, wishing everyone to have blessed, happy Thanksgiving. Be cautious, please.
Yes.
Share it with the family and your friends. And Kyle, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's lots of useful information.
Thank you.
Andrew, as always. Cheers.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, look forward to see you. www.accessmachinery.ca or info@accessmachinery.ca. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for watching.